This is what the way of mastery is all about. Becoming Christed in your own self, becoming Christed in nature, becoming in tune with the awareness of Christ, with the awareness of God. This is the way of mastery pathway. All right. I think we got everything set up. Woke. Like, I'm happy with it. Oh my God. All right. So we're starting a new lesson. I've been reading from A Course in Miracles for a little while, and I've been guided to start sharing the way of mastery. This pathway, this book has completely changed my life in so many ways. And my goal, my objective is to spread this message to the world and to make this more accessible to people, for it to be more easily read. Quite a thick book, but actually it's 3 books in one: The Way of the Heart, The Way of Transformation, and The Way of Knowing. 3 books channeled by Jesus himself, his words, his guidance, his pathway that he suggests for all of us to becoming Christed, to awakening, to following his path of how he became the Christ. This is what the way of mastery is all about. Becoming Christed in your own self, becoming Christed in nature, becoming in tune with the awareness of Christ, with the awareness of God. This is the way of mastery pathway. I've literally read this book more than 10, 15 times. These 3 books. My Kindle is completely covered with highlights. I've gone through this book so many times, redid highlights again and again. This entire book is combed through with my awareness, my knowledge, highlights, bookmarks, notes. I've been working very hard on this, and it's time for me to share it. We are going to start from the beginning. Lesson 1 of the way of mastery. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of your time, and you just listen to the words and you listen to the message. I promise you, your life will change. I promise you. Jesus, we are blessed. Dear Lord, dear God, thank you for being here today with us. Thank you for allowing us to read your words and to hear your message. Thank you for allowing me to be a vessel of truth and to spread your word and to spread the new gospel, the New Testament, the way of mastery, and the way of miracles. God, we thank you for our life. We thank you for our blessings. We thank you for our grace and the opportunities you give us to awaken your guidance, your love. Amen. Immediately, this book starts off with a bang. Lesson 1, the way that calls you home. Now we begin. First highlight here we got. Orange highlight is ultimate truth, foundational truth, Christed awareness. Orange is always going to be God or Jesus or the Christ perspective. So first highlight we have here is from Jesus. I come not to teach you, but to love you. Straight out the gate, letting you know what he's here for, his message, what he wants you to know. First thing he wants you to know. I come not to teach you, but to love you. Until you choose from within the depth of your own being to set aside every illusion you have ever given credence to, and to remember the truth which alone is true. For indeed there is a transcendence of all that knows limitation, and there is but a mind of Christ within each of us. There is but the mind of Christ within each of us. As a spark of divine light, as a sunbeam to the sun, resting eternally in perfect communion and communication always. Amen. That is the Christed mind. That is Christed awareness. Christ abides eternally with the Father, is not separated from the Father, is not embodied. Christ is in God with heaven, in the mind of God. Christ is the eternal awareness. It's never distracted. It never loses its perspective. It is always aware and true of the truth that is true always. The Christ mind is the offspring of the Father. You abide in that which embraces all things in all ways and at all times. As the soul begins to turn from the things of the world, here's our first blue highlight. Blue represents the ego, represents misperception. Blue always has to do with ego and the body. So it is seriousness of the mind that is the creation of the ego. You can simplify the nature of your own consciousness and surrender into something beyond you, beyond your temporary physical self. And here we come to a very important part, one of the axioms of truth, a pillar of truth through the way of mastery. This is one of the first pinnacle truths that he will repeat over and over again throughout this entire course. Your Father created you to be the thought of perfect love and form, the vehicle through which the love of spirit can shine forth. Amazing. Father created you to be the thought of perfect love and form, a channel through which love of spirit can shine forth. Yeah, beautiful. When you have come to this state of awakening, you will discover the deep delight when the mind is only focused on seeing from the mind of Christ. When the mind is only focused on seeing from the mind of Christ. Your happiness and your unhappiness have been merely an effect of where you choose to place your attention, for you will be able to look upon all created things that you have ever experienced, and as they arise in your mind, they will not disturb your peace. Jesus is talking about his experience now, right here. I walked upon your beloved earth as man, to challenge myself, to test myself, to condition myself, and to rise above, to transcend all possible experiences that could distract me from the remembrance of who I am. To be challenged by the events of space and time so that I could cultivate within myself the ability to see from and to see only the perfect purity of the mind of Christ. His own personal perspective, the way he sees things, the way he felt, his experiences are all in this book. And when he speaks it, it has validity to it. It has truth to it. These are his words. I've been reading this material obsessively for years now. So here we are at the first heading, the first step in awakening. Nothing that you experience is caused by anything outside of you. You experience only the effects of your own choices. It's about personal accountability. It's the effects of your own choices. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are only a victim of your beliefs and of your mind. You need to come to a point within yourself where you say, no one is to blame. I must correct this for myself. The world is innocent. The world is innocent. It's all on me. I must correct this myself. I must fix this myself. I'm the only one responsible for myself, for my actions, to love myself, to take care of myself, to awaken myself. This is the way of the heart. This is book 1. The way of the heart is a way unknown to the world. The way of the heart is not the way of the intellect, but the way of the heart is that which feels all things, embraces all things, and trusts all things. It is the pathway which cultivates within you the decision to assume complete responsibility in each moment. The way of the heart is a way that brings about the reversal of every thought you have ever had about anyone and anything. Wow. The way of the heart is that way that was taught to me, Jesus himself. The way of the heart is the pathway that he follows. It is that way alone which allows you to pass back through the eye of the needle and to come to rest in perfect peace from which you have sprung forth. The heart is that which is beyond space and time and resides in the mind of Christ. And it is only in that you will find the peace you seek. This pathway of awakening is not a pathway of avoidance, but a pathway of truthfulness. For in truth, that mind that trusts its source allows all things, embraces all things, and transcends all things. Rest assured, whenever you feel frustration and anxiety, it is because you have decided not to trust the truth. And the truth is simply this: only God's plan for salvation can work for you. Only God's plan for salvation can work for you. What does this mean? It takes great humility to accept the first step of this path. I must surrender to something else. I must surrender to something else. Your way must always fail, for your way begins with the illusory and insane assumption that you are a separate being from the mind of God and therefore must direct your own course. That is the mistaken perception. That's why it's in blue. I have created a labyrinth and gotten lost within it, my creation of a whole lot of insane dramas that are occurring nowhere except within the field of the mind. It's all within your head. Everything that you create, your anxieties, everything is all within your mind. It's a creation of your mind. And it's part of being embodied. It's part of being a human. It's part of having an ego. The mind is going to run in its own way, in its own path, in its own beliefs, because it's based off of survival. It's based off of fear. Do not follow your mind. Give up being addicted to your mind and identified with your mind. And be willing to give in to something else, something higher than you. What if is the question. What if the very life you are living and each and every experience that is coming to you was being directly sent to you of your Father, because your Father knows what is necessary to unravel within your consciousness to allow you to awaken? What if? Let's talk about this real quick. What if the very life you are living and each and every experience that is coming to you is divinely guided to you and brought to you by God, because He knows what is necessary to allow you to awaken? And what if you achieved a maturity along this pathway in which you are finally willing to let things be just as they are? Allow events and circumstances to happen, people to come in and out of your life. Allow them to be just as they are, because everything is divinely guided by God. It begins by accepting that of yourself you can do nothing, but through God all things are possible. Awakening is only a remembrance. So awaken and relax into the truth that is true always. If you would make your commitment to trusting your Creator for having set before you a pathway that will lead you home. Your Creator has set forth before you a pathway that will lead you home. The way of the heart is the final pathway that any soul can enter. Eventually, each soul must find its way into the way of the heart. To begin to bring back the light by simply observing your own mind, your own behavior, and your own reactions with a sense of wonder and a sense of innocence, with a sense of childlikeness. For is it not written that you must again become little children to enter the kingdom? Remember that everything is neutral and that all that arises within your consciousness has no effect. The way of the heart is a way of cultivating the decision to become identified with the light that can shine away all darkness, not by fighting with it, but by recognizing it. The little child simply marvels at all they see and says, "How about that?" This is a call that comes from that deep part of your spirit, which abides as Christ in the holy mind of God. Trust not the perceptions you have cultivated in error. Your intellect does not know anything except trivialities. Every thought of scarcity, every sense of unworthiness, and every fear, unhappiness, limitation, and lack, all comes from within your ego. Your intellect does not know anything. Your insistence on treating the intellect as your God, every thought of scarcity, every sense of unworthiness, and fear. The intellect can never bring the healing of the heart that is the atonement. Let these lessons bring up within you everything unworthy of the mind of God and the mind of Christ. Let these lessons bring up within you everything unworthy of the mind of Christ. Be you, therefore, beloved friends, at peace in all things. Become fully committed to the experience of happiness. Give your Creator full permission to clear out anything that you're holding on to. And you will know the perfect peace of empty-headedness, and you will know what it means to be relieved of time and be comforted by what is eternal. Jesus finishes off the chapter by saying, "You have asked, and I have responded." We are in communication, and that is the way it is, and that is the way it will be until the end of all illusion. Peace be unto you always. Amen. That concludes lesson 1 of the Way of Mastery. There's a lot to digest. There's a lot to go through. Hope you were listening and read the actual words, the actual text, the actual message that was up on the screen while I was reading. This is lesson 1. So, yellow means it's a narration. It's asking you a rhetorical question, a question of significance for you to ask yourself. Yellow is appealing to the person reading the material. Orange is universal truth, divine truth, God or Christed awareness. Pink is always related to the heart and your emotions and to your vulnerabilities and to your sensitivities. Pink is always speaking to your heart. The way of the heart is the way of one committed to healing every obstacle to the presence of love. Also, pink is always related to love. And orange is more the mind, Christed awareness, God awareness, the intellect, making it all make sense. So this was lesson 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is lesson 1. We're starting from the beginning. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you gained some knowledge. And I'll see you again. I'll be